Good morning. Thanks for joining me at Coffee with Kory. I'm back at Tavern 88 in the fine state of South Dakota. If you joined me last week, you know that we're in Florida and I got a lot of first-time experiences that were just mind-blowing for me, and I was so excited to share them with you, and I'm glad that I did, but I'm not gonna lie. I was yearning for my typical week. And when I say typical, I don't mean boring. I don't mean mundane. I don't mean the same. Every week here for me is different because of all of the interesting people that I get to meet, the meaningful conversations that I have. And I want to thank you guys again, like I do every week, for joining me, because as long as you'll keep joining me, I'll get to keep doing this. And when I get to do this, it really makes me sit back and reflect on my week and about all of those blessings that I have and the things that I just talked about, the wonderful people I meet, the interesting and meaningful conversations that I get to have. And so I'm going to jump into those because as I reflected this morning, a lot of times I'm going through a week and I'm just like, wow, I can't believe we're at the end of it already. And then when I do this, when I sit back and I reflect, I'm like, wow, we covered a lot of ground this week. We talked to some great people and had great conversations. So here they are. Started it off on Monday. Got to sit down with a guy by the name of Nathan Schock, who's been involved in business in Sioux Falls area for such a long time. And we're acquaintances. I've known Nathan for a while. We got reconnected through my buddy Nate Henry at the Local Best. And Nathan's doing this podcast talking about businesses and how do you build consumer confidence, and basically it ties in with that whole Local Best thing. How do you make people want to do business with you, love you? And we're aspiring to do that. I'm thrilled that both of those guys thought of us when they thought of that topic. And so we had a wonderful conversation. When that podcast comes out here in another month or so, I'll definitely make sure I get it out to everybody here on social media, because I'm looking forward to seeing how they shape that with the conversation that we had. One of the best parts of that day was when we got done, I was chatting with Nathan about who else he was talking about or talking to and the companies that he was talking about. And he mentioned a guy that I haven't crossed paths with for a while. We're connected on social media, Sean Erickson, and his business of the Man Salon. He and his wife own that. And I was fortunate enough to actually cross paths with Sean on my way out that day. And it was a treat to get to see you again, man. I don't know if you join me for coffee on the weekends here, but it was a treat to get to visit with you again. And I will leave you guys with this part of it. I'm just as excited to share his segment of the podcast, which obviously I wasn't privy to, but I'm really excited to watch that myself and share it with you, because he's got a tremendous comeback story, that guy does. So there was that. On Tuesday, I got to go up and spend a large part of the day with Rochelle and Shaylee up in Brookings and tour houses, and get to meet and visit with a bunch of other agents in Brookings. So that was wonderful. Had a few different conversations with friends and got to really dive into some things that were interesting to them, which honestly, guys, that's when I feel like I'm at my best, is when I'm able to ask questions and really get information from people on the things that interest them and the things that fill their bucket and drive them forward, because that just pours a little fuel on the fire for me to continue doing the same thing in all of those sectors that interest me. And so, Al, it was great to visit with you about the Great Loop. If you guys haven't ever heard of that, you should look it up, because that was really cool. And then I got to chat with one of my good gym friends about a conference that she was at and all of the different progress that they were making. and the different items that their group was able to be exposed to, and then hopefully being able to push their business forward. Anytime I can see the light in people's eyes when they're talking about things that are really interesting to them, that makes it interesting to me as well. The item that I want to leave you guys with, though, was a short interaction, but it was meaningful for me. Jossie and Cassidy and I were out at a local establishment, and we're eating on the patio, and a group of ladies get up, and they're walking by, and this gal looks at me, and she kind of smiles, and she goes, "Kory Davis," and my initial reaction then is always, especially if I don't know exactly who it is, it's always, "Hey, how are you?" And she starts walking around the table, she looks at me, she goes, "Oh, no." She goes, "You don't know me." And I'm like, okay, now what gives, right? Well, she's from my hometown, and I knew she looked familiar as she walked up because she resembles her mom, who was my catechism teacher when I was growing up. And so it was fun to see you again, Debbie. I know it's been a long time since we've crossed paths, and so it really made me feel good that you would come up and visit with me. And as she said to me, she goes, "Well, I recognize you from social media, and you do have a strong resemblance to both your mom and your dad." So I wasn't sure exactly how to take that, but it was fun nonetheless to see you. And I bring that up because of what I've mentioned before. If you see me out and about, and you know me from the hometown or from any other walk of life that I've been in, whether it's college or my banking days or any of that stuff, or if you just know me from advertising or have seen me, it is. I will tell you, it will be one of the biggest thrills of my week to get the opportunity to visit with you, because, as I just mentioned, talking to people and finding out what lights the fire in them and puts the sparkle in their eyes, that keeps me pressing forward. So I hope any of you that I cross paths with will take me up on that and say hello the next time we cross paths. So thanks again for joining me at Coffee with Kory, and I'll hope to see you again next week.